In this video, we will show quality control for MGC Diagnostics Pulmonary Function systems using BreezeSuite software. Quality control is important to ensure that the laboratory is consistently meeting appropriate standards. Quality control testing involves periodic testing of a system to verify that it is within the manufacturer's specifications in order to ensure consistent and reliable results, which will help to reduce or eliminate errors. Quality control on the system should be performed according to the ATS guidelines, following a complete calibration to ensure optimal performance of the system. The frequency of QC may be increased depending on the size of the laboratory and the number of tests performed. The technician performing the QC testing should be familiar with all testing procedures to ensure that there are no technique errors. Before performing quality control procedures, ensure the calibration syringe is leak-free. Extend the piston of the syringe. Cover the open end of the syringe with your hand. Inject the piston and inspect for leaks. Disregard any effort analysis messages that may appear during syringe testing, since efforts are not physiologic. Prior to performing any quality control on your system, you should calibrate the flow sensor. Note, gas analysis for DLCO and nitrogen washout tests will be performed immediately prior to each of those tests. From the BreezeSuite main screen, click the Calibrate button. With the flow sensor connected to the 3-liter calibration syringe and the syringe plunger pushed in all the way, click on the 0 button. Next, click the Start button. When the screen displays Withdraw, pull the syringe plunger all the way out. The screen will then display Inject. Push the syringe plunger all the way in. Perform the syringe withdrawal and injection 5 times, momentarily pausing between each stroke. Vary the speed of the strokes to cover all flow rates. Note, the red dotted lines are guides only, and your strokes do not have to line up exactly with them. Also note that the order you perform the strokes, slow, medium, or fast, does not matter. The ATS-ERS guidelines recommend a daily volume verification using a 3-liter syringe cycled at least 3 times to give a range of flows varying between 0.5 and 12 liters per second. When all 5 strokes are complete, the software will indicate whether or not the calibration has passed. If flow calibration has passed, click the OK button on the bottom right of the screen to save the calibration. If flow calibration did not pass, click the Flow 0 button and repeat the calibration. The first time performing a syringe QC, a new subject must be entered. From the main BreezeSuite menu, select New Patient and click the BTPS Correction Off box and click Yes to the message that appears. This will turn off BTPS corrections and be used for spirometry, DLCO, and nitrogen washout testing. Only the last name and ID need to be entered. Next, click Add Visit, then click the FVC tab at the bottom of the screen. Perform 5 to 7 FVC efforts, varying the speed of each effort. Perform slow, medium, and fast FVCs to cover the flow range that patients will achieve. Disregard any error messages that are displayed. Once all efforts have been performed, verify that the measured values are within specifications. The 2019 ATS ERS spirometry guidelines state that spirometric equipment must have a maximum permissible error of plus or minus 2.5% when testing with a 3L calibration syringe. Based on this, verify that the FVCs measured with your system are between 2.92 and 3.07 liters. If your values are outside this range, recalibrate your system and perform additional FVC testing. DLCO quality control should be performed weekly per the ATS guidelines. This test is performed with the BTPS correction turned off. This means you can add DLCO testing to the same patient visit that was used for syringe spirometry testing. Prior to each DLCO effort, place the umbilical clip into the calibration port and perform a DLCO gas calibration. Once the gas calibration has passed, connect the umbilical clip to the pre-vent flow sensor and have the syringe and flow sensor connected to the head of the system. The white DLCO QC coupler should be used for DLCO QC testing. The coupler has a smaller internal diameter which allows better mixing of the gas inside the syringe. The coupler is placed between the pre-vent flow sensor and the syringe. Connect the flow sensor to the head of the system. Click the Start button or press the spacebar to begin the effort. Place your thumb at the 2-liter mark on the syringe plunger. Perform 3 to 4 tidal breaths, then push the plunger to exactly the 2-liter mark. Press the spacebar to close the distal shutter and pull back 2 liters of diffusion gas. The system will automatically lock you out for 20 seconds to allow gas mixing in the syringe. After 20 seconds, the shutter will reopen and you can push the syringe plunger in all the way. The effort will automatically stop and you can review the results. Looking at the data from the efforts, verify that the IVC from each effort is between 1.90 to 2.10 liters. The measured value of DLCO must be less than 0.5 milliliter per minute per millimeter of mercury, or less than 0.166 millimoles per minute per hectopascal if using SI units. Using the IVC from each effort, find the measured IVC in the second column in the table on the right. The target VA along with the VA minimum and maximum will be to the right of the measured IVC. Verify that the measured VA is within the minimum and maximum values in the table. If the IVC is not within range, recalibrate the flow sensor and perform another DLCO effort. If the VA or DLCO are not within range, perform another gas analyzer calibration and repeat the effort. The 2017 ATS ERS DLCO guidelines also have a recommendation for quality control. These recommendations can be used in place of the previous MGC specifications. The guidelines state that each week, or whenever problems are suspected, a DLCO QC check should be performed. This check should be performed in a normal patient test mode, meaning the BTPS correction is turned on. Prior to performing this test, create a new syringe patient. However, do not check the BTPS correction off box. This will keep the BTPS correction turned on, as in a normal patient test. In the DLCO F5 options, ensure the fixed anatomical dead space box is checked and the anatomic dead space is correct for your syringe. Before each DLCO effort, place the umbilical clip into the calibration port and perform a DLCO gas calibration. Once the gas calibration has passed, connect the umbilical clip to the pre-vent flow sensor and have the syringe and flow sensor connected to the head of the system. The white DLCO QC coupler should be used for DLCO QC testing. The coupler has a smaller internal diameter which allows better mixing of the gas inside the syringe. The coupler is placed between the pre-vent flow sensor and the syringe. Connect the flow sensor to the head of the system. Click the Start button or press the spacebar to begin the effort. Place your thumb at approximately the 2-liter mark on the syringe plunger. Perform 3 to 4 tidal breaths, then push the plunger all the way in. Press the spacebar to close the distal shutter and pull back 3 liters of diffusion gas. The system will automatically lock you out for 8 seconds. After the shutter reopens, push the syringe plunger in all the way. The effort will automatically stop and you can review the results. The specifications from the ATS are that the VA must be within 300 milliliters of the target. The VA target is calculated by taking the syringe volume of 3 liters times the ATPD to BTPS correction factor. With a temperature of 72 degrees Fahrenheit, a barometric pressure of 740, the target VA is 3.26 liters. The measured value of DLCO must be less than 0.5 milliliters per minute, millimeter of mercury, or less than 0.166 millimoles per minute, kilopascal if using SI units. The IVC should be approximately 3.36 liters. If the IVC is not within range, recalibrate the flow sensor and perform another DLCO effort. If the VA or DLCO are not within range, perform another gas analyzer calibration and repeat the effort. Note: if any value in the DLCO F5 options screen was changed prior to DLCO testing, they should be changed back to their original settings. While the ATS does not give a recommendation for frequency on performing nitrogen washout quality control, MGC Diagnostics recommends performing this test weekly if nitrogen washout is the main procedure used to determine lung volumes. For this test, the BTPS correction factor should be turned off. This means that a nitrogen washout syringe QC test can be added to the existing file used for FVC syringe testing. Before each N2 washout effort, place the umbilical clip into the calibration port and perform a gas calibration. Once the gas calibration has passed, connect the umbilical clip to the prevent flow sensor and have the syringe and flow sensor connected to the head of the system. Click the Start button or press the spacebar to begin the effort. Place your thumb at the 0.5 liter mark on the syringe plunger and perform tidal breathing with the syringe. The initial 4 tidal breaths are measuring the room air concentration of oxygen and do not get displayed on the graphs. After the initial tidal breaths, the volume time graph will trace the tidal breaths. When 4 stable tidal breaths have been established, press the spacebar to switch you into breathing 100% oxygen. Continue tidal breathing in the 500 to 1,000 milliliter range at a frequency of 12 to 16 breaths per minute. When the N2 concentration gets below 1.7% for 3 consecutive breaths, the system automatically ends the effort. Note: if there is a leak present, the N2 concentration may not get low enough for the system to auto-stop. If this happens, press the space bar to end the effort and repeat the effort once the leak has been eliminated. After the effort has ended, verify that the measured FRC value is within the target range in the table below. Depending on your model of syringe, locate the appropriate syringe dead space column, then note the lower and upper range for FRC. Your measured value should fall within that range. If the FRC is not within range, perform another gas analyzer calibration and repeat the effort. While a 3-liter syringe cannot be used for measuring lung volumes via plethysmography in the Platinum Elite, an isothermal bottle from MGC with a known value can be used in its place. Please refer to your YouTube channel to see a video on performing isothermal bottle testing. Biologic QC should also be performed on a regular basis using subjects that are healthy and non-smoking. Refer to the ATS Pulmonary Function Laboratory Management and Procedure Manual, which can be purchased at the ATS website, www.thoracic.org. Thank you for watching this video. Information on quality control can be found in the MGC Diagnostics Product Bulletin, part number 140255-001. To obtain a copy of this bulletin, or if you have any questions on quality control, contact our technical support department at 1-800-333-4137 or email us at support@mgcdiagnostics.com.